right, let's talk. Let's give like a full review for Soul Hackers 2, all right? Because it's complicated. It's like if you set your relationship status on Facebook to it's complicated kind of thing. I'll start it off by saying this experience of Soul Hackers 2, it's exactly the same feeling with how I felt with going through Octopath Traveler. The reason why I was able to finish this game and not finish that game though, is because this game is short and sweet. At least it was only like 40 hours for me to get through. Octopath Traveler was a lot longer for me to get through, and I just could not force myself to keep going through that game. But it's pretty much the same thing. I love the music, I love the characters, I love the battle system, I love the style, all fantastic. Even the engine, Unity engine, I thought it was great. Overall, great. But the reason why I dropped Octopath Traveler and the reason why I was thinking and really close to dropping this game, it's just the dungeons, man. Like the actual gameplay or lack thereof. Like, dang, dude. All of the dungeons are just so bland and there's just nothing there, and that's a lot of the gameplay. The pacing is so bad and it doesn't help either. Like, I've had to grind before every single boss in this game. I think you don't have to grind if you actually take the time to go into the Soul Matrix, and then you're like, okay, well, battling in the Soul Matrix and then battling in the dungeons makes you leveled enough to go through bosses. It's just not fun, but at least the battle system was fun. Battle system kept me going through the game, but God, just the stupid dungeons, they're so dumb. I just want the Soul Matrix to be deleted. It's awful. And I hate that the true ending is locked behind it. Like, that is the most awful thing anyway. But anyway, there are a lot of good things in this game though, so that's where I'm conflicted. I was about to drop this game. If it was any longer than what it was, I would have dropped it. I just could not, I was not having fun doing the dungeons at all, and I was just waiting to get to the bosses so that I could progress the plot. That was just my attitude after a while. What didn't help were the side quests. Because at the beginning of my gameplay, I did every single side quest and I kept up with it up until like level 30. I kept up with it for a pretty long time, so like halfway through the game. And that, I think, tired me out the most, was the fact that I did all of that. So I had to go back into all those dungeons, grab whatever items were in some random corner, and then suffer my way around. So the side quests really didn't help my burnout with the game. I really shouldn't have done that. So if that helps anybody to avoid the side quests so that you don't lose your mind like I did, I think that would have helped me if I just like straight up didn't do the side quests. They didn't really add anything. I was hoping that they would add something. And I saw later in the game there was like some Ash side quests as well, and like some seemingly looking interesting ones, but I could not get myself to do them after a while. Anyway, that was just my initial thoughts of the game. But there's a lot of pros in this game. Let's talk about the pros, okay? Characters? I liked them. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed having an adult cast. I'm hoping Persona 6 is like an adult cast or like college years. That would be kind of cool. I would appreciate that, but we're probably not gonna get it, whatever. I also like that the cast were not friends. Like, it took them the entire length of the game to even get along, and even then they don't get along. They're forced to be with each other, and they're not just randomly joining your adventure to come to like some cause that everyone just is all hunky-dory and like, oh yeah, instant friends because we're gonna beat the bad guys, beat the villains of this story. Like, you know, it's like they have to work together to get through this, and it's like they don't want to. I like that. I like that sort of conflict. So I like having an adult cast. I like that they're not friends. They're just kind of forced to be there, and then they like develop, and it gives them like some interesting scenarios. Like some of the bar hangouts that we had in the game were very interesting. Seeing Ringo, her try to get Arrow and Melody to even acknowledge each other. It's nice to have those moments with the characters. I enjoyed that a lot. I hate that I have to get the character development through the Soul Matrix. So I enjoyed the characters. I thought they were great. What I didn't enjoy, to go a little bit further, and this touches more into like the story side of things, I'll save that category for next, but just the lack of reaction to events. Like, it throws me off how often Arrow would just not express any emotion. He had so much happen to him. His best friend, like Kaburagi, who saved him from getting bullied whenever he was little, like, and he had a big attachment to. Kaburagi, we fight him, and then there's just nothing out of Arrow. There's no emotion. There's no like follow-up. There needs to be follow-up scenes to these things that are supposed to be really impactful for these characters. Like, the fact that that wasn't there and we just move on like nothing just happened is so weird and off-putting to me. I just don't understand that at all. I really don't get it. Arrow was a huge problem, and 3 scenes that I can occur that just had no follow-up emotion, just nothing at all. He just says, I'm fine, and then just keeps going. Like, you're driving me nuts. I just need more. I need way more. Saizo was my favorite. I liked his arc with him and Ash. Fig is like, okay, question mark. I don't even want to touch on Fig, honestly, because like, I think that touches more on like the story being... The story isn't anything super special, I think. I think that the story is pretty... It's not super unique, it's not super fantastic, but I also wouldn't call it bland at the same time. It's like right in the middle. It's good. I think that's what I would say. It's good. I feel like you have mid, and you have good, and then you have like, wow, this is a great story. It's like... It's good. It's just good. But the characters are what make it better. There needs to be more character emotions that are shown with scenes to make it more believable of a story for me. Overall, I think that this game is an improvement from the first Soul Hackers, coming out of the first Soul Hackers game since I just played it. It's an improvement. It's good. The only thing I actually would argue that is done worse than the first game is the dungeons. I literally think that the dungeons somehow got worse than the first game. And that's saying a lot because I didn't enjoy the dungeons in the first game either. But at least there was some puzzles and some aspects of those OG Soul Hackers dungeons that made it somewhat interesting. What else to touch upon? I guess the battle system, I did mention with the battle system, love the Sabbath mechanic. In a lot of ways to upgrade and fine-tune your strategy. So everything from like the demons to the augment system with the mystics and the mystic quartz. I just like the amount of optimization. Like every tiny little thing helps you in battle. I really appreciated that. And then accessories, which I don't know if they necessarily needed accessories in this game, but you know, having one extra thing to help you in battle, I guess isn't too bad. That's also a perk. MC dying, being game over. I like that. I'll take it. Hey, you can tell it wasn't the A team. That's okay. Like, it doesn't need to be an A team to work on the game. I think for it being like small budget, smaller team, I still think that the game did good. That's why I would say like my overall rating of the game, I think is like a 6.5 out of 10. The dungeons being largely most of the gameplay in this game, it just takes off the most points, man. Like, that's your gameplay, and plus your side quests to aid in like the building of the world, and it just doesn't do it at all for me. No, I would still categorize this game as very average. I wouldn't fully turn anyone away from the game either. Like, I still think it's a good addition to the franchise. I think that it's a good spin-off series. I think it has a lot of room to grow. I hope that they take all the criticism from this game and then make a better like Soul Hackers 3, because I think that it could keep going. I think that the things that are wrong with this game could easily be improved upon. I like side quests in games. Side quests in games can be very hit or miss. It's hard playing this game after just playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, where all of the side quests I genuinely loved. They were so good. Really built up the world and even made me care so much about NPCs or like characters that we barely get to see in the main story. You know, you're doing a damn good job if I feel like that. This game there's nothing substantial in these side quests. I just didn't enjoy any of them. I also do agree with their decision for making Ringo the protagonist instead of Arrow. If Arrow was the protagonist of this game, it would have been a lot worse. I genuinely think that. He would have been your very stereotypical, bland anime boy protagonist. Ringo at least brings something new and special and unique to the table, whereas Arrow I find extremely basic. I would look forward to a Soul Hackers 3 because seeing the improvement from Soul Hackers 1 to this game gets me hopeful for a third game being even better. I still sit here and I think about like, should I just have dropped the game whenever I was thinking about it? Because I don't know if that ending was worth it. It got better. It was a okay finale, but it's okay. I ended up doing it. More voice protagonists. I am completely with you. Holy crap, I would love more voice protagonists. I really hope they take that direction. I mentioned this before. I also like whenever a character, like your main protagonist, has a set name that they have and not one that you give. You know, Ringo is Ringo. You're not naming Ringo something else for you to be that protagonist. I don't really like JRPGs that do that, or RPGs in general. I like a given name. I like whenever that given name can be voiced. I feel more connected. I feel more immersed in stories that way. Another thing with the battle system is that the dialogue was just way too heavy. I love the unique voice interactions that they had between the characters. I thought that was really cute and cool and unique, but way too much. Like, cut down on your voice lines by like literally 75%. It was just, it got really annoying really fast. There's a lot of quality of life options that need to be available too. Like, there should be an option in your config to turn off Sabbath animations permanently so you don't have to manually click it every single time. There should be a zoom out camera that's not tied to the config and is a set setting like that. Just small things. I'm trying to think of other aspects of the game that I'm missing. We talked about the characters, the story, the battle system, side quests. I liked the bar hangouts. I don't think soul level necessarily needed to be a thing at all. Oh, the drip. Oh, God. The best part about Soul Hackers 2 is the drip, man. I love the shopkeepers. I would die for all of them. I want to make all of it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And I love that the shopkeepers heavily remind me of The World Ends With You. Oh, the Jack Frost variants. Yes, melon frost, strawberry frost, lemon frost. They were great. They were great. But anyway, I guess the big question is, like, if you're on the fence about buying this game, Soul Hackers 2, I literally hate saying it, but I would wait to play this game until it's cheaper. It's still worth playing, except not at $60. Like, just wait until the price drops in a few months and then snag it. But that's tough for me to say because I genuinely think the game and what they have is worth $60. So if you can, I would say the game is worth the $60 price point. I don't think it's a bad price point. The execution of the game is lacking to where I'm like, I cannot rightfully suggest playing this game until it's cheaper. It's hard. It's a really conflicting feeling, but I have no intentions of playing the DLC. I'm sorry. I'm very done with this game. That's it. That's the full review of Soul Hackers 2. I think I should have dropped the game, honestly, and just watched the ending. Anyway, that's the full review. Thanks for the TED Talk.